Welcome, and today we're going to read Celia Cruz, Queen of Salsa, written by Veronica Chambers, illustrated by Julie Moran. In the fabled land of Havana where rhythm grows, sweet and juicy like oranges in Florida, there lived a girl. She looked like a girl and talked like a girl, but everyone who ever met her agreed she sang like a bird. When Celia Cruz was a girl, growing up in Cuba, she could never hear the magic others claimed was in her voice. When she opened up her mouth to sing, she heard a girl like any other. But when she sang, her father heard thunder, her cousins heard the call of the sea, her neighbors heard a hummingbird. Celia would grow up to be a queen, but she was not born a princess. She grew up in a poor section of town, one of 4 sisters, though the house was also home to numerous cousins. At times, there were as many as 14 children in the 2-bedroom house. Still young Celia always stood out amongst the crowd. Her mother liked to tell the stories of how a tourist brought Celia's first pair of shoes after hearing the little girl sing. Like other girls in Havana, she had chores. Some of her friends were charged with sweeping the kitchen. Other girls washed their dinner plates. Celia's job was to sing lullabies to her younger brothers and sisters to sleep. At night, her voice carried through the windows, rolling along the cobblestone streets like a will or a wish. The people in the neighborhood began to gather outside the family's front door, begging her father to leave it open. They say her voice is tan dulce, sweet like azúcar. Her voice, it was said, sent you not only to sleep, but to a nighttime land of angel dreams. Always shy and more than a little independent, Celia mistook the gathering crowds for busybodies watching her every move. "Ay, por favor," she pleaded. "If you don't leave, these little ones will never get to sleep." Despite her initial shyness, she could not stop singing. In the afternoon, after school, she would listen to the rapid-fire calls and cries of the peon, the street vendors calling out their wares. In time, people would recognize the passion and pulsating cries of the peon in Celia's unique vocal style. In high school, she began singing in school shows and local clubs. The music that she loved, el son and la guaracha, blended traditional Afro-Cuban rhythms with the flavor and folklore of the tropics. It was the kind of music that sizzled from the joy of being alive. Her father loved to watch his little songbird, watch her send 100 hearts soaring with her melodies. But he was also cautious. "Keep studying, mija," he told her as she hummed old Cuban love songs while absentmindedly flipping the pages of her school books. "You are so smart. Forget about singing. Become a school teacher and make our family proud." Her teachers, however, saw things a different way. "Take a chance," one professor told her. "With your voice, you could earn in a day what it takes me a year to make." But it is not easy to take a dream planted in your heart and make it grow in the world. Celia was unknown and did not have the kind of connections that easily open doors. Still, she jumped at every opportunity. Talent contests at the National Theater and amateur nights on the radio. She never forgot her father's lessons on the importance of education, and after graduating high school, she enrolled in Cuba's National Music Conservatory, where she studied piano, voice, and musical theory. Then in 1950, she got her big shot. The most popular band of the day was a group called La Señora Matancera, and they were auditioning for a new lead singer. When they heard Celia sing the way she made each and every note swing, they decided to give the little songbird a job. At first, La Señora's public was outraged. Who was the no-name singer fronting their favorite band? The phones at Havana radio stations rang off the hook with complaints. At home, Celia began to wonder if she shouldn't take her father's advice and teach school. Was she really the ruin of Cuba's most beloved band? She stood by the window looking out at the stars she feared she would never join, and Celia asked herself, "Why do I sing? Is it for fame and fortune and for fans that do not exist?" "No," she told herself, "I sing for my parents, the ancestors, and the saints." I sing because when I lift my voice up high, I feel like the first pajaras of the day, whistling Buenos Dias to anyone who will listen. I sing for my little brothers and sisters and the sweet expressions on their faces when they finally fall asleep. Although Celia was seriously thinking about giving up her dream, her bandmates refused to allow her to quit. As a group, they rewrote the history of Cuban music with new arrangements and a fresh, innovative style. By the time she left Cuba in 1960, Celia was as beloved throughout the country as the men who made music with her. She even earned an affectionate nickname from her thousands of fans. They called the group Café con Leche, coffee with milk, because Celia's skin was very dark and her bandmates were very fair. In the United States, she became a citizen and her talent was rewarded with a permanent contract at the Hollywood Palladium. But once she left Cuba, politics dictated that she could never return. She would never again walk the streets of her beloved Havana. She would never again hear the cries of the prejon that were the bass and treble of Cuban street life. It was a heartache she carried her whole life through. Still, she kept her heart open. Lost loves made room for new loves, and it was there in Hollywood, that factory town of movies and dreams, that the young princess of salsa music fell in love with a knight in shining armor. His name was really Knight, Pedro Knight. He was the lead trumpet player of the Palladium Orchestra, and while he dazzled her with his high notes, he won her love with his understanding. She told him that her heart would always be split in 3 pieces, and only one part would belong to him. One part of her heart belonged to music, and the third piece would always live in Cuba. Celia knew that she had met more than her husband. She had met an angel who would be her companion and protector in this land so far from home. Celia Cruz brought salsa music to every corner of the earth, from London to the Congo, from Brazil to Japan. She recorded over 20 gold albums and is known the world over as the Queen of Salsa. For more than 40 years, Pedro Knight was her king. Celia's performance trademark was a full-throated shout of azucar. It's the Spanish word for sugar, and the only word many say that so perfectly described her voice. In the fabled land of Havana, where rhythm grows, sweet and juicy like oranges in Florida, there lived a girl. She looked like a girl and talked like a girl. But everyone who ever met her agreed she sang like a bird. The bird girl grew into a princess, and the princess became a much-beloved queen. Her kingdom was music, and those who loved her called her not by name, but by the joy she inspired. At concerts, they called out "Azuka," as Celia Cruz never failed them. She sung sugar, sweet sugar, wherever she went. Thank you for reading with me.